Hello, fellow explorers of truth and freedom. Welcome to another of my videos. So, we know that they would like to have digital ID. It's going to be so much easier for us, of course, to log on wherever we are to pay for parking tickets or to pay our taxes. And for them, of course, to know exactly what we've been doing and what we've been spending, where our money has gone. Every tiny little transaction, of course, will be logged through our digital ID, accessing the internet and every single website that we visit, every little moment that we go on our phones, all the swipes and push buttons and things, thanks to a digital ID. And so the powers that want to be in control can make sure that they have complete control with their digital ID. But there seems to me to be a slight problem for them. And that's for us to unravel, let's say. Because at some point or other, when they're introducing these, and I think some of these are voluntary and what have you, and it'll be a bit like, you can't do this unless you have one of these digital IDs, and you're thinking to yourself, oh yeah, it's a bit like, I'll take a murderous jab, shall I, just so I can go on holiday for a week, but the rest of my life will be ruined. Yeah, sounds like a fair bet, doesn't it? And I think it'll be a similar sort of thing. They'll introduce it voluntary and make it more difficult to do things until eventually everybody goes, oh, well, I better have one of these. But here's the problem, it seems to me, is they'll, of course, need to take your identity to start with. They've got a number already associated with you. It might be your national insurance number. It might be some other number. Who knows? It might be your QSIP number. So they've got a number that they'll need, a digital number, because it has to be digital, obviously. I mean, all numbers are digits, aren't they? Yes, that's true. Thanks, Vobes. Bit of brain work going on there. So, okay, so they've got a number, and they need to attach it to you, this soul in a body of flesh and blood, as far as we know, right? So they've got to attach this digital thing, which is just numbers, which is what doesn't really exist in anything. They can write it down on a bit of paper, but it's just sort of a mental thing. And then they've got to attach it to, well, this other soul, which I suppose in some ways is another mental thing that has flesh and blood. So they've got to attach the two. So here's the problem. How do they identify you to start with? How can they prove it? Well, of course, they'll say, in order to do that, we'll need to see your passport or your bank or your, all the utility bills, all those things that you have already proved who you are to. But have you? Have you actually already proved who you are? Because all these other things, like the passport, they all come back to, excuse me, yes, if you'd like to send us your birth certificate. Well, the birth certificate isn't even you to start with. It's just a name, as we already know and we understand. At least I hope we understand that name that's been written down isn't you. You're a soul in a body. A name is just something that's, somebody's said, oh, you can be this name, Fred Bloggs, whatever. And you've gone, okay, yeah, I'll be that, just because you told me that's my name. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. But that may not actually be who you are. I mean, a name. But anyway, the point, they still have this difficulty because they'll come back to the birth certificate. And let's have a look at the birth certificate. Here it is. There we are. That's the sort of one that's online. It's a sample one. I believe it comes from them as a sample, just to show the sort of thing a birth certificate will look like. But have a look at the bottom. And now a lot of us will know this, of course, but a lot of people don't seem to know this. Let's just enlarge this a little bit here. Here we go. What does it say right at the bottom here? Warning. A certificate is not evidence of identity. Let's just read that again. A certificate is not evidence of identity. So what the hell is it? It says this is a sample certificate. It looks like a certificate. It says here it's a certificate copy of an entry of birth. So this is the thing they ask you to bring along to identify yourself or as part of the identity. And yet it actually clearly says a certificate is not evidence of identity. So what is? What is evident? Everybody asks, you get a new bank account. Oh yeah, can you bring in a passport, birth certificate, driving license? Well, driving license, passport, they've already asked to see your birth certificate, have they not? You've got to always go back to this thing, this bit of paper. Yeah, here we go. I've got a bit of paper that says on it, it is not evidence of identity. So it's rubbish. So they haven't really identified you. They've identified something else, haven't they? If they're saying, yeah, here's your passport, here's your driving license, here's your utility bills, here's your whatever it is, and then you put a picture on, which a picture is only a copy of. It's not the original, because you're the original, aren't you? You are the original. This is why I made a video the other day, and it said, well, how do you identify yourself? And you go, here I am. This is it. All I can bring you to identify me is some people who've known me for, say, 5 years, 10 years, who can say, as far as I know, that bloke is that bloke. We call him Fred. Some people call him Fred Bloggs. Some people have given him this strange title, Mr., but I don't think he had that when he was born. And he, as far as we know, I don't think he's a clone. I don't think he's a twin. I don't think he is just somebody who looks like it. As far as we know, he is the guy that we hang out with down the pub, or go and play croquet on the lawns, if you still play croquet. As far as we know, that's how do you identify yourself? You don't. And the government, with their digital IDs to make life very easy and beneficial and nice and kind and all the rest of it, have at some point got to put this number, which they've already allocated to your name, Mr. Fred Bloggs. They've already allocated to that. Have no fear, whether that's your national insurance number, your QSIP number, whatever it is. You've already got a number, and it's probably tagged to your phone, by the way. It's probably tagged to your phone because everything's got to be on your phone, hasn't it? On your mobile, on your smartphone. So the number is probably already connected to your phone, or the account on your phone in some fashion. I don't know how that is, but I absolutely imagine that is the case, because they're tracking and listening to you from your phone, so they know everything about you already, and they just need you to say, yes, I am this fake thing, I am related to this, or I am this birth certificate thing, because it says you're not. It says you can't use this as evidence. And yet you say, oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, of course, that's me. No problem. That's me. It's like the man sitting in the cafe, and he's ordered a cappuccino, and the barista is there making it. And he comes out with this cappuccino. He says, cappuccino. And the man waiting for it says, yes, that's me. Well, it's not him, is it? It's not him. He is not a cappuccino. Cappuccino. Yes, that's me. Excuse me? You're a cappuccino? I thought you were a man waiting for a cappuccino. You're Mr. Fred Bloggs, are you? Yes. Oh, I thought you were just a man or a spirit in a body, and this is just a bit of paper. This is a certificate that says it is no evidence produced by the government, produced to fool you. So how can they get a digital ID unless you acquiesce, unless you agree to, unless you put on the persona of this fake Crown Corporation account that's copyrighted as not you, but you seem to have a bank account in it. It's not even your bank account. You have a passport. It's not even your passport. You have utility bills. They're not your utility bills. Why are you paying them? They're not yours. They're to this corporate, you just send them back to the government. Say, I've got this bill to this corporate identity. Here. It's yours. It's not me, because I'm not Mr. Fred Bloggs. They keep sending it to me. I don't know why. They're sending it to an address on a map. I live in a real home. I live on the earth. I live in real space. But they keep sending it to a plot that is on a list at Land Registry. They keep sending it to me, and it's not me, obviously, because my birth certificate says you can't use this as evidence, and everything goes back to the birth certificate, and so you can't use it as evidence. It's not evidence, and therefore it's not me. This is what hopefully people are slowly beginning to understand what is going on here, the deception that's been happening, and we're going, oh yeah, that's me because my mum and dad said it was me, and yet your mum and dad, of course, were duped. They thought you were just Fred. It's Fred. They didn't call you, oh, look at the lovely baby, Mr. Fred Bloggs. That's what we're going to call him, Mr. Fred Bloggs. Yes. I don't think they did that. They may have even added the unnecessarily, oh, little Master Fred Bloggs. Again, another title. Why would you do that? And have they got even the power to do that? I mean, a name is what? It's just a noise, isn't it? It's a sound that comes out of somebody's mouth. Fred. It's just a sound that somebody has gone, yeah, we could turn that into letters, and then we can put that on a certificate, and we can say, there you go, mate. There you go, sport. That's you, innit? That's you. No, it's just a name on a bit of paper. It's not me. And the bit of paper that you pinned onto me actually says you can't use this as evidence. So if they're going to try and bring in these digital IDs, the only way they can do it is if we say, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll put on the mask. Tie that up there. I'll be bound and gagged in your jurisdiction to do as you tell me, because I have now agreed to be put into this digital box, into this digital prison. I have agreed, I've acquiesced, I've allowed you to do it, so now you can whip me and chain me and take my money and make life miserable because you've said, yes, I am this, now in digital format, glorious, spectacular, colourful, digital format. We would be fools to go down that road. We would be stupid to go down that road. But, my merry explorers, of course the decision is yours. If you wish to go down there and be whipped and chained and guided. And of course you can't go on holiday unless you have a digital ID. And you can't go and drive your car unless you have a digital ID. And you can't do all these things. Well, that may be true. But if everybody says, no, sod off. Sod off, mate. What are you trying to do? Put us into a digital prison? No, I don't want to do that, mate. No. And if everybody gets behind it, if more people get behind this, if people wake up and say, no, sod off, mate, what can they do? There's more of us than there is of them. But we need more of us to wake up. Otherwise, they will come along. There you are. There's your digital ID, mate. It's a con, but there's not enough of you to stop us. Thank you for watching.